Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming. My name is Tommy Reynolds, and I'm a portrait and travel photographer. And I'm probably best known for a lot of the work that I do with music distributors. So I do a lot of work with Psycho Entertainment, Sony Music, and Universal Music, creating EP covers and album covers, that sort of thing. But in my spare time, I love to travel. I love to travel, and I love to film it as well. Because I believe that we're now in a point where it's just as important to share the creative process or share what you did on a photo shoot, not just traveling, but do on a photo shoot as it is for the final product. I believe it's really important. But before I carry on, I want to show you my last trip that I did. So I've been to Sri Lanka recently, but I've also been to India even more recently. So I want to show you an example of how you can film your next photo trip independently, almost effortlessly. So let me just flick to QuickTime and I'll play this.
Crazy
Thanks for watching that. So, but why film your next photo trip at all? Well, as I said before, we're now in a day and age where I believe it's just as important to share how you did something than instead of just sharing the final image. So sharing the creative process is just as important, because we as humans, we naturally have a yearn to see the creative process. It's like it's the reason why documentaries and reality TV still exist, is because we just naturally want to be nosy. It's like I gave a talk yesterday on the social media and mobile stage about just behind the scenes and the importance of it. And it's like the Discovery Channel, how it's made. It's like I didn't know how a washing machine was made, but now I do. But I found myself watching it because I found it quite interesting, that how a washing machine is made. It's just, but you feel a part of the creative process, and there are loads of advantages of doing this. Not just because it's a cool thing, but also it's great for your business because it shows your potential clients and the people you work with just how good you are to work with. So if you are, and naturally, if you think you're a really chilled guy, or you can interact with your models really nicely, and you think you've got that good rapport, then that's good to show that, because I had a really good conversation recently. So I'm here as representing Pixapro, and when I asked them years ago if I could borrow some gear, if I can use it in my for my next photo shoot, I said that I would also make a behind the scenes video with it. And they said, yeah, okay, cool, we'll go for it. And I had a chat with him recently, the owner, and I said, just out of curiosity, 2 years ago when you loaned me that gear, would you have loaned me that gear had you not seen a behind the scenes video? And he said, probably not. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, it's because I liked, I could see what you were like. I could see that you were a chilled out guy. I liked your travel stuff. It just seemed like you were really interact with the models. It just seemed like you were really kind of down to earth. And it's so important if you can get yourself in front of the camera. Now, as you can see, I didn't do any talking in that, and you don't need to. If you're not comfortable talking in front of the camera, then that's fine. As long as you just kind of edit it with a nice piece of music, then you almost kind of let the music and let your video take over. And we'll look at little tips you can do to make that video better with music and stuff later on. So as I said, it's great for the business as well, because it makes you look good. It makes potential clients want to book you or take you on this trip. So thanks to this video, at the end of this year, I'm going to be working with an excursion company, an Indian excursion company, and I'm going to be leading a photographic walk around Agra and Varanasi and one other city, all because they saw this video. And it comes back to personal work as well, because this was a personal trip for me. And I wanted to go because I really wanted to go to India. I've been to Sri Lanka, and I really like this part of the world. And I'm going to be going to Vietnam in a couple of weeks to do a very similar thing, and I'll be filming it in a very similar way. So if you want to see more of my work, you can see that on my website, including my Sri Lanka one, which is very similar. But it's all because of that video, not because of the photos, because of the video that they decided to take a chance on me. And the same with Pixapro, they took a chance on me because of the video. And that's why video is so important in our business. And but you don't have to know everything about video. Now, I did come from a filmmaking background. I have a degree in filmmaking, but you don't need to know the ins and outs of video to produce a video like this, for example. I shot everything in auto. There was nothing complicated about it, because the most important thing is the context. The context is the most important thing. It doesn't matter if it weren't shot on the latest camera with this amazing frame rate. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. We've all seen amazing photographs and then learned, oh, it was an iPhone. That's pretty good. It doesn't matter, does it? It all depends on the context that's in it. So if you've got a great subject to film, if you're going on a great holiday, and you film really good content, then it doesn't matter what the format it was shot on, the medium it was shot on. There was a really good book, and I mentioned this in my talk yesterday, and I want to mention it again. I'm reading a book by an author, Austin Kleon, called Show Your Work, and he describes how important context is. And I'd want to say this and to reinforce that you don't have to use expensive gear, because I certainly didn't. And he said that imagine you're in an art gallery and you know your stuff, you're an art buyer, and you walk in and you see two pieces on the wall and you think, they look exactly the same. They're so identical, even down to the brush strokes look exactly the same. You can't tell. So you've got to ask the guy that works there, excuse me, what's the difference between these two paintings? They look identical. And he said, oh, well, this one was painted in the 18th century by a well-known painter by the name yada, yada, yada. But this one on the right was painted by a student last week who wanted to see if he could replicate that picture. Now, even though they're exactly the same, what one would you rather take home with you? Even though they're exactly the same and they look the same on your wall, you would rather take home the one on the left because of the story, because of the context. And this is why context is so important, and you really don't need expensive gear in order to produce good content. People are interested in what other people do, and as I say, it's why documentaries exist, because documentaries are not, filmed the best, and that's because obviously sometimes it's not planned, but it's the context, it's the subject matter that keeps you engaged and interested. But the research, so why is this important? So I did some research and found out that when it comes to the potential reach, video is one of the highest forms online. YouTube receives more than 1 billion unique visitors every month, which is 1/3 of the people on the internet. So this is why, as photographers, we now need to start tapping into video. But you don't, as I said, don't have to do it in a crazy way. You don't have to start learning the ins and outs of video. But it's important that we start, if you've never done it before, start embracing it and start using it. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't matter if it's a bit shaky or a bit wobbly, it doesn't matter. As I said before, it's all about the context. If you've got a good subject to film, then it doesn't matter. And researchers found that by the year 2019, video will account for 80% of the global internet traffic. And nearly 1 million minutes of video will be shared every second, which is crazy. And a little tip that I like to do when I upload my videos to my social media is with Facebook. I imagine that most of us have Facebook, and if you don't yet have YouTube, then a great way to start is when you set your YouTube channel up, if you upload a video to Facebook, directly to Facebook, with the way the algorithm works, you will naturally get more hits on the Facebook video than if you shared a YouTube link. Because Facebook know that when you click that link, it's taking you away from their website, and they don't like that. So naturally, their algorithm will stop your video being seen to as many people. However, if you upload it directly to Facebook, then it will hit more people. But here's a good tip that I like to do though, because I have both Facebook and YouTube. So what I like to do is I like to upload a teaser. So I upload like a little 30-second video to my Facebook, and then invite people to go to my YouTube to see the full thing. That way I have the best of both worlds. I've got the algorithm on my side with Facebook because it was a direct upload to Facebook, but it was a specific 30-second chunk of that final video on Facebook, if that makes sense. That's just a cool little tip. But the great thing about video just in general is that you can pack everything into it. You can pack your videos. If you also do a bit of music production, you can put that in there. You can put the video in there. So you can literally combine everything in there. And which is why video, again, is just so important, because everything can go into one medium. When you do a behind the scenes, or if you do go traveling, one of the things that you saw in there is when you saw me put the camera to my eye, it then cuts to the image. And what's really annoying when I look at behind the scenes videos, or videos in general, when they do this type of thing, is you never see the video. You never see the picture that was taken. I've seen behind the scenes videos where you just see all the setups and it looks great, but then you never see the pictures, or you might see them at the very end, and it's like that closure. It's like seeing A and B, but you never see C, and it's like, well, I need C to really appreciate it. It's like storytelling. I need all parts of the film to really appreciate it. And it's like when we just share our photos, we're just sharing the third act. Well, how did you get to the planning? How did you get from A to B? I want to see that, because I'm really interested in that, and then I'll be more engaged and feel like a part of the creative process when I see just the amount of effort that went into getting that shot. Oh, so you were there. And also you can see if I decided to overpower the ambient, for example, and create a dramatic photo, I often wonder, well, I wonder if it was really that dark, or if that's just the flash doing the work. So it's really interesting to see when you look at these behind the scenes videos, just what the conditions were before the shot was taken, and then you appreciate the photographer more. So then people appreciate you more as a brand and as a photographer as well. And getting your face in front of the camera as well, as I say, just puts a face to the pictures, which I think is important because everyone wants to see that. So what gear did I use? All I used was a GoPro and a compact camera. That's it. That's all I used. And I shot everything, as I said, on auto. So I have my camera bag here. And this is the exact camera bag that I took to India. And this is my exact setup. So the way I was able to get that shot where it looked like it was following my head, it was this setup. So this is a Flipside 400 Low Pro that I've had for years. And this is the tripod holder at the back, but I've just got a little monopod attached to my GoPro. This is a GoPro, I was using the GoPro 4. I don't even own the new GoPro. I'm perfectly happy with the GoPro 4. It's all about the context. I don't need the GoPro 5. This does everything I need it to do. And then I just kind of wrap it around at the top here and then kind of tighten it. And I've already pre-tested this, and I know that if I only release and bring up one of the arms, so I don't need to release the two, I can then flip that around. Now I did have a friend with me, but he wasn't filming, he was just holding my light, so occasionally he might have just seen, I might have just said, is it pointing at my head? But if I look around, then I can just about see if it's pointing directly at my head or not. And because I've pre-tested this, I know just how wide the lens is on these GoPros. They're amazing. I really appreciated how wide they were when once my battery died, and I thought, well, let me just try putting my compact camera on there instead. And it was nowhere near wide enough. It was just literally my head. There was nothing else. So you really do appreciate these GoPros, and they are really, really good. I use it with the waterproof case, just in case. Now, in the video, I don't really do a lot of talking, and we all know that if you put a GoPro in these waterproof case, the audio isn't amazing. So that's why I leave it in the waterproof case, because I know I'm not going to be talking. And then if I did get it wet, then I know it's not going to be fine. I can be walking, it's raining, I know that there's going to be no issue. And what's great is that I can literally just leave that recording and forget about it. Because then when I pick up my camera and I approach someone, I can just start, yeah, it's not tightened up yet, but I can just start shooting and I don't have to worry about it. So sometimes I'll get back to the hotel and just completely forget that how I approach that person for the shot. But you can show that in your behind the scenes, because you're not going to remember to, oh, maybe I should film a little bit of this, or get your phone out, get your compact out. You're not going to remember to do that at the time where it's needed. Like I've managed to catch some really cool moments that I wasn't expecting, like if someone runs out in front of me and just anything that isn't going to be expected, that's going to capture it, because I can just leave that rolling the whole time. And with the compact camera, again, well, this is a Sony RX100 Mark IV. Now, because I come from a filmmaking background, that's why I went for the Mark IV, but you don't have to go for a Mark IV. It is quite a pricey compact, but I was just using it in auto. I could have got away with the Mark I version. I used to own the Mark I version, but the only reason I went for this one is because it has a lot of bells and whistles when it comes to video. But that's because I come from a video background. But I didn't use anywhere near its capabilities of what makes it better from the Mark I. I was literally just shooting in auto, and so the compact camera became the extra bit. So if you saw in the behind the scenes, there were, when I met the silk weaver, before after I photographed him, I then thought I better get some just extra little bits of footage, because obviously I've got the advantage of like kind of zooming in, getting a bit of detail. Because if it was just GoPro stuff, it might have got a little bit boring. So I wanted to just change it up. So I just left that in my pocket, and then when I could, then I did shoot a little bit. But not really much was shot on this. 90% of that video is shot on a GoPro, and again, just on auto. I could have even shot flat and color graded it later, but I didn't. I just left it on standard, and you don't have to do that either. And that's why just context is so important. Just be careful when you go through security at the airport. I've been caught out. I actually pretended to be just naive, because I thought if I'm caught and I try and hide it, that's going to be a bit dodgy. So I just there was one time when security came up to me, goes, "Are you filming?" And I went, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, well, you're not allowed to." I go, "Oh, I'm ever so sorry about that. I just played kind of dumb and really naive, and they could see, oh, okay, I'll bless him, oh, he doesn't know, all right, I'll just let him off. But if you say, no, I'm not filming, then it just looks super dodge. But yeah, just be careful if you're doing it in airports. And also batteries as well. So I used a battery charger that charged 3 at once, so that's good. So when you're in your hotel room, my desk becomes like my little charging station. So I've got the chargers for everything really, for my compact camera, for my GoPro, for my DSLR. It's all kind of out. So when I come back, I can just stick everything on charge at the end of the day, and then I can transfer everything into their according days and worry about the footage when I get home. So here's a couple of stills of the gear being used. So you can see that's what it looks like. It might look silly, but I don't care. As long as I get the shot and I know that I'm going to be able to walk away with a really cool behind the scenes video at the end of this. So that's why it does look silly if you are walking around in public and they're like, what's that? But I don't mind. So here's another example of me filming with the compact camera as well, just in case. I didn't think, oh, I need to turn that off because I'm doing that. Just leave it running. If you've got a big enough memory card, I was using 64 gigabyte cards, but you're more likely to run out of battery space, I found, first than memory space. So I always carry 3 GoPro batteries with me and a couple of batteries for this, and they've got 64 gigs in this and in the GoPro. So there's a couple more examples. This was in Sri Lanka, and this is again why it's really cool, so you can see how it was done, how it was made, like the Discovery Channel show. So you can see this was this guy, he was my tuk-tuk driver in Sri Lanka. I just tipped him a few extra 100 rupees. I said, look, would you mind coming out and helping me get this photograph that I want to get on the boat here? And so you can just see the creative process, and you kind of appreciate the effort that I went to in order to get that. And so will your audience. They'll be really engaged, and that's the key word, engaged. Because engagement for video is far higher on social media than it is for photos. So a video does better than a photo, and a photo does better than a status update. But if you can combine it, it's then an added piece of social media rather than just the final images. Again, here in India that we just saw. Another one here in Sri Lanka. This was in a tea plantation factory. I got the guy that worked there just to help me out. I said, would you mind just holding it for me? But the communication was really hard because obviously I couldn't speak their language, and it was really funny how I was like doing really big gestures. I'm like, can you just move like kind of this way? And then when she would move, I'm like, yes, that's it, hold it. And that's my point. So you can kind of like, you see the kind of the comedy and like the effort that it went to get there, and then you appreciate the photograph more because of the context there. Even if you feel really sick on a boat, it's even still capture it. So I was using, I just took the monopod out of my bag, and sometimes I would use that. So I would just like stick it out of the tuk-tuk. So it had a kind of a multi-use for it. If you don't want to put it on the back of your bag, if you want to try and film without using the bag, so here's another method. It's not for traveling, but I was hired to film and shoot a concert. So this is a singer-songwriter called Nick Howard, and he asked me to produce a behind-the-scenes video of his tour. So I joined him on 4 dates, including filming it. So I just used this little thing here that I bought on Amazon for like 10 quid. You just stick that to your DSLR, and then you can attach the GoPro to it as well. So you can just see my lens at the bottom of that screen there. And that's really cool as well. Again, just hit record and just leave it rolling. Just shoot the whole show and don't worry about it, because then if something happened during the concert, you'll have got it. So it's satisfying when if he was to like jump in the air and like strum a chord, and then bam, you cut to that photograph that you caught. It's just there's closure. You see the lead up, and then you see the final product, and then you see how it was edited, because you can see the conditions in the ambient light without. So when it comes to editing, so my editing workflow, I import everything into the editing program and go through every clip and make an in and out point. So that's kind of like when you chop it up. So it's important that you go through every single clip and don't just go to a clip because you think, oh, well, I remember that bit, that's going to be a good bit. And I remember that the 3 clips ahead, that was also a good bit. I've learned from this, go through every single clip because you may just miss something. So make an in and out point on every single clip and put it on your timeline. And this is just my process, by the way. You may have your own way of editing, but this is how I do it. And after I've made an in and out point, effectively then, I've got a timeline of good stuff, all the good stuff. And then that's when I can start putting some music to it, and then cut to the beat, and that's really important. And that really helps. Bring carry the video forward when you're cutting to the beat. It's satisfying when you see a cut and it happened on a beat. So it's just a really good way of practice if you are doing this sort of thing. So I usually do cut on the beat, and it just feels right as you're watching it. And then once you've done that, just delete any loose clips not needed to tell the story, because again, that's the most important thing, is to tell the story. And that's about it. And then I upload to my social medias. That's really about it. I've not really done a real outro for this talk, but thanks ever so much for listening. And if you do have any questions, I'll be around after. Thanks very much. Thank you.